The film starts, and we are shown a car. Here, a couple came out and a girl was sitting in the car. She was looking very scared. She didn't look like their daughter at all. After that, the scene shifts to a family who had come on a holiday trip. The man's name was Bjorn. And here was his wife and a daughter. They were having fun, when a man comes and asks for a chair, which was of Bjorn, but he still gave it. Because that man asked very lovingly. The man takes the chair to his family and sits down. This man's name was Patrick, and here was his wife and a son. In the evening, everyone had dinner together, where Patrick thanked everyone, which made him feel that Patrick is a very good man. Here he also told everyone that he is a doctor. Everyone was sleeping at night, but Bjorn was not sleepy. When he stood in the balcony he saw Patrick, who was looking at them, but the next second he leaves. The next day, when this family was roaming, their daughter's toy got lost. Bjorn went to look for it and soon he found it, but when he comes back, he sees that his family is talking to Patrick's family. Patrick's wife also talks to them very nicely like him. Let's talk about his son. He was very quiet. He also had sadness on his face, which didn't look like he had come on a holiday. Patrick praises both husband and wife, and such two families got together. Because of which they eat together. Patrick's wife invites them to her house, and they eat together. It was found out that although Patrick's wife eats vegetables, and is a vegetarian, but sometimes she also eats fish. Today she was with them so she wanted to eat fish. Because of which Patrick praises her again. Everyone was very happy, but Patrick's son was eating noodles in a strange way, as if he was very hungry. After spending a good time together, both the families went to their homes. One day, Patrick's mail came to Bjorn. Along with the picture of both the families, he had invited them to his house, to come and stay at his house. Both husband and wife were very happy, and said that they are such a good family. But it was not decided yet whether they will go or not. A guest came to their house with whom they mentioned this. The guest says that you should definitely go. They are inviting you with so much love. Hearing this, both their worries were resolved, and now they have made up their mind that we will definitely go. Then on the day off, they set out on their journey. After completing a 7-hour journey, they reached Patrick's house, which was in a remote area, and was also very small and narrow. Anyway, they were welcomed very well. Then they show Bjorn and his wife their room, which was also very small. They had also made a bed for Bjorn's daughter in their son's room. But by laying a mattress on the floor, this thing seemed very strange to Bjorn and his wife. They believed that guests should not sleep below them, but what could they do? Their son was still sitting quietly. He does not even talk to them. Patrick cooks meat at night, and gives it to Bjorn's wife first to taste. Even though she knows that she eats vegetables, not meat. Then she also does not refuse, because she has come to their house as a guest, and they have to listen to them. Bjorn's wife eats meat at their behest, while they also throw garbage from Bjorn. When Bjorn was looking out of the front shed, then Patrick's son Abel came to him. He opens his mouth and shows that he does not have a tongue. That's why I don't speak. But then Patrick called him, and Abel ran away from there. The four of them were talking at night, and Abel was crying loudly, but his parents did not care. They say that Abel does not have a tongue, that's why he often cries like this. Then Bjorn's daughter also came here, and these three slept there with great difficulty. The next day they all went out. Bjorn's daughter was not able to slide while playing, because Patrick's son was sitting below, he was not moving away. Seeing this, Patrick scolds his son very badly, and also makes him apologize to her. The thing that Bjorn's wife doesn't like, that he treats his son so badly. That's why she tells her husband that I don't feel good here. But then Patrick's wife comes and says, let's go out to eat, we are going out to eat. Hearing this, Bjorn's wife was very embarrassed. She thinks that these people are so hospitable. Everyone was ready to go, but then a man comes here, who was actually a caretaker. That is, the one who takes care of the children. Actually, only these four are going out to eat. The children are not going. So the caretaker will take care of them in their absence. Why did Bjorn and his wife find this strange? Patrick didn't tell them that we are not taking the children. He didn't want to leave her daughter alone. But now she had to do this out of helplessness. And these 4 people go out. Instead of this hotel, they came to a small place to eat. And here Patrick orders all that food and liquor. Seeing the food, both of them were very happy. That him, well, it's good hospitality. After eating a lot of food and drinking liquor, Patrick and his wife get intoxicated and they both start dancing. After having a lot of fun now, it was time to pay the bill, which Patrick gets from Bjorn. Which was even more strange, because they were the guests. And Patrick's wife also told them to go out. And now the bill is also being paid by these people. Bjorn and his wife's thoughts about both of them changed. They think that these people ordered so much food, but we ate less, just thought about their respect, but what did they do? They ate a lot of food and still, we gave the bill. That means they didn't respect us from anywhere. They thought this was a fraud, but now the poor girl could do nothing but laugh. Patrick plays music in a very loud voice. Bjorn tells him to lower his voice, but Patrick didn't listen. That's why Bjorn's wife got angry. And she tells him to stop the music in anger. But still, Patrick and his wife didn't care and they were having fun. These people come home and see that our daughter is sleeping on the floor. That means they insulted them in every way. When Bjorn's wife was taking a bath, someone comes in. This was Patrick, who comes very close to her and then goes back. Bjorn's wife was very worried about this. She quickly came to Bjorn wearing clothes, but doesn't tell him anything about it. Both husband and wife were spending time together. That's why their daughter comes and says, "I want to sleep with you," but they were busy, so don't listen to her. And then Patrick sees this. When Bjorn's wife wakes up in the middle of the night, she goes to check her daughter, who was not at her place. When she went to Patrick's room, he was sleeping without clothes. And he was putting her daughter to sleep in the middle. Bjorn's wife felt very bad about this. She picked up her daughter and came to Bjorn. She said, "I want to go home, let's go, let's go." These people pack their stuff and leave without telling that family. And while leaving, Abel looks at them in a very innocent way. When she comes a little further, Bjorn's daughter says, "I forgot my toy there on this." Her mother explains to her daughter, but she starts crying. She starts insisting Bjorn didn't see her crying. That's why he turns the car. But by listening to the daughter's insistence, Bjorn's tuning like this was going to bring a big problem for them. It's also a big thing to think that you are leaving their house in the middle of the night without telling that family. But then you are coming back for some reason. Anyway, after reaching there, Bjorn sits his daughter and wife in the car and goes inside to get the toy. By then, his daughter gets a toy from under the seat. When his wife goes inside to tell about this, she sees that Bjorn has already met Patrick. Here they also have a problem. Patrick says, "You leave us like this without telling, maybe because we might have missed something in hospitality, so tell me what was missing? That you guys did like this to us." Then here Bjorn didn't say anything. But his wife says everything whatever she felt bad. She says, "Even though she knows that I am a vegetarian, I eat vegetables. I was forced to eat meat, why? And the room that was given to us was very small. The bed was also small. Our daughter was made to sleep on the floor. That night, we'd paid the bill. Your behavior was so weird. What was all that?" Then in their clarification, they say that we didn't remember that you are a vegetarian. And if we fed you meat, then we didn't force you, right? You have eaten as per your wish. You should have told us. You were shy and didn't tell us. And as far as the small room was given to you, then you guys see for yourself that our whole house is small. And how would we give you a big room? We don't have money to buy a big house. We don't have that much status. Whatever happened to us by staying here? We tried to do it well. And the purpose of making your daughter sleep on the floor was to keep both the children together, so that our son would also get along with her. There were no 2 beds, so we had to put a mattress. And let's talk about last night. We got the bill from you and our simple behavior, so you guys saw how drunk we were. We didn't even remember what we were doing. Now from all their talks, it seemed like their intentions were not wrong. They tried everything to serve that family. But then Bjorn's wife says, "Okay, The rest is one side. You guys tell me, why did you guys put our daughter to sleep in your room? Hearing this, Patrick says, when she came to you, then why didn't you listen to her? What were you doing at that time that your attention didn't go to her? Because of this, Bjorn and his wife were very embarrassed. And it became clear here that both the couples are at fault. If Patrick and his wife are at fault, then Bjorn and his wife are also at fault. That's why Patrick says that this is just a misunderstanding between the two couples, which we can clear up so that you can stay here for one more day. For which Bjorn and his wife also agree. Because they were also feeling bad about their behavior, and like this, their friendship started once again. And these people make preparations for the night. Here, Bjorn's wife gets a cut on her hand. Then Bjorn asks Patrick to check, because he was a doctor. Then Patrick says that I am not a doctor, I was just lying. In fact, I don't do any work. Hearing this, both felt very weird, because once again they were cheated. But apart from showing a fake smile, they couldn't do anything. Bjorn's wife notices that Patrick's wife is getting along with our daughter, when she didn't even care about her child, and when these people eat. She was getting more frank with their daughter, when her own son was sitting far away. And Bjorn's wife doesn't like this. And she even told Patrick's wife, that don't make my daughter understand so much. Now both the kids were dancing. But Patrick's son, although he wasn't dancing properly, but he was happy for the first time today, and he was enjoying. Then Patrick tells him to dance properly. After saying it twice, when he didn't dance properly, then Patrick first scolded him a lot. Then after stretching his face, he said do it properly, which scared Bjorn's family too. Now he was a kid and he couldn't dance properly, so Patrick got so angry about it, that he threw the cup and broke it. That family felt very bad about it. That he is behaving so badly with his child, by not letting him enjoy, which made Abel cry. But neither his mom or dad was making him quiet, nor tried to cheer him up. In fact, even now they were forcing him to dance. This thing was not being seen by that family. Bjorn stood up and he says, "Stop it, Patrick, he is a kid, why are you forcing him so much?" But he didn't care about this. He was still asking him to dance. Bjorn's wife felt so bad that she got angry and came out of there. Everyone was sleeping at night, but Bjorn couldn't sleep, because Abel was still crying. Then Patrick went to beat him so that he can keep quiet. There was a very fast TV, which Bjorn came to turn off. But then his eyes went to the front shed whose door was open, when Bjorn went to check. Then seeing this, his eyes were left open, that there are a lot of people's stuff lying there. And there were a lot of pictures on the walls, which Patrick had sent to Bjorn, which clearly meant that this is his job. He meets the family on holidays, and talks to them, and then calls them to their house. We will never know what he would have done with them. But they choose a family like their own, which has a husband, wife, and only one child. Because a child is the most important for them. There we also see Abel's picture, when he was with his real mom and dad, and then Patrick and his wife had another child, so that we could understand that they kill mom and dad from the family, while keeping their child with them, and that child stays with them, until they get a new prey or a new child. And when they get a new family as a prey, then they kill that last child too. We get to know all this from the children present in those pictures, who were very happy with their families, but as soon as they came to them, all their happiness was gone. And one more thing, they cut Abel's tongue, not that he was born like this. And he used to do this with every child, which made Bjorn very nervous. He came out quickly, and thinks that now he will save his family and Abel and take him away from here. Unfortunately, Patrick had killed Abel long back, because his dead body was floating in the water, which means that their child was his next target. But here I will tell you some things related to Abel. Now when we saw Abel for the first time, it felt like the child was not speaking. But that poor child was sad because of leaving his mom and dad. And he was eating those noodles in such a strange way, because he had not eaten them before. He was from some other country where there are no noodles. That poor boy had to eat quietly, because he could not show tantrums. And neither were they his real parents, who would hold his tantrums. And he was treated very badly, which we have already seen. He showed Bjorn his cut tongue because he was a small child, but wanted to help them. So that those people run away, but he did not understand. And often Abel used to cry, because he must have missed his parents. And that day, he did not move from the swing, because he did not know English. So he did not understand what she was saying. And that day when he was seeing his family leave, he was sad, because he was seeing his last hope leave. Which is very sad. And that night when he could not bear to see Patrick cry, he killed Abel. Although he was happy for the first time that day, Patrick made his happy day as the last day of his life. Now Bjorn had to somehow save his family, so he left with his wife and daughter. He was driving the car in a shivering, and he did not tell his wife that she should not get scared. Now a car was following them, which was none other than Patrick. Now when they realized that he was following us, Bjorn took the car off the road and put it on the other road, but the road was bad so his car got stuck. The problem was that there were no signals here. Bjorn saw a house in front, where he went to get help. While Patrick was hiding and keeping an eye on them, Bjorn reached that house, but there was no one there. So he comes back. But there was no one in the car because Patrick had taken them. With his daughter's toy in his hand, Bjorn was crying. That's when Patrick comes there with the car, in which his family and Bjorn's family were there, who were still unaware of the truth of what was happening here. Bjorn was helpless. He sits in the car at the behest of Patrick. But he now knew what was going to happen to us. Their daughter will be snatched and they will be killed. And he will not be able to do anything. Then Patrick took them to a deserted place. Where Patrick was not listening to them, here his caretaker also came. Patrick was also hitting Bjorn, which made his wife understand that the matter is very bad, and those people now cut off their daughter's tongue with scissors. And the caretaker also catches his wife. Bjorn became stunned after seeing all this, because he was feeling pain thinking that now our child too will have to endure all this which Abel was doing. No one will be able to help her. She will endure the cruelty, and one day she will die. But now their life was also in danger, because they were going to be the first to die. Patrick brought them to a place where there was no one to listen to them. Bjorn asks Patrick, "Why did you do all this to us?" He answers, "Because you let me do it." Now, we will know the answer to why he said this later. He takes off their clothes and puts them down. Then he picks up big stones and starts hitting them. And while being hit with a lot of such stones, the poor people suffer and die. Then they takes their daughter to their house, and this is the same scene that we saw in the beginning. A couple and their daughter who was scared. Then after a few days, they went out to take a vacation. And they also found their next target. Now Bjorn's daughter is also in the same condition as Abel's. That is, her tongue was cut and in shock, she was very scared. Now Patrick said this because you let me do it, so we did everything, because he shouldn't have believed these strangers like this. Saying it nicely and lovingly, they kept trapping them, and they kept getting trapped. They kept praising them falsely, and they kept getting trapped. Now if they wanted, they could have escaped. But because of the stubbornness of the girl, they had to go, and all this happened to them. That's why whenever you go on vacation, don't believe strangers. Because anything can happen. Who knows? There are dangerous people like Patrick and his wife. So always be alert. And you should not fulfill every wish of your children. Because the consequences of this are often very bad. With this, the film's story ends here.